Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Games to the Max. I am your host, Sean Agarmer, here with me, as usual, Mr. Mark Morrison.
Howdy.
No camera today for Mark because he's hot. So,
Right.
even though he lives in Michigan, it gets hot up there too. Not just like
It's
up
not.
here.
I mean, it's hot, but it's more the humidity.
Yeah, well, I mean that's how it is here in
Yeah.
Miami too. The
Same
humidity
with
is
like
terrible.
Atlanta. Like, yeah.
It's just like, especially after it rains, which you never know when that's going to happen here. But hopefully, all of y'all did not get hit by the. Well, apparently that hurricane wasn't that bad. We were expecting this huge thing at work to happen where everybody's power was going to be off and like the southeast part of Texas, and that didn't happen. And a bunch of people closed their offices and all that stuff for that. Thankfully, it wasn't a big deal for most people. So, but hey, today is National Video Game Day, so we had to have a video games to the max today. We'll be talking about what Mark is playing video game wise. We're talking about our most wanted video game adaptations. So this can be stuff that we already know is coming out that hasn't come out yet, or stuff that we want to come out that maybe it just stays in the wishful thinking bag. Or for Mark, it's the correct 5 things that need to be released, whatever that is. And we'll get into the news as well, which also has to do with some video game adaptations. And we'll get into all of that stuff right after this.
You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
All right, so just really quick here, so we can get this out of the way. I'll do the housekeeping. So normally we do the show live around 5:30 to 6. I had to do it a bit later today because I had to do some overtime at work, and they had times that were when we do the show and not after. Usually I do an hour before we do the show, then I do overtime after, but they didn't have that this week, so we had to do this later. But for all y'all that watch on demand, which is most of you, or even listen on demand later, you can do that by subscribing on any of our platforms. Most of the time, that's on YouTube because we haven't made the Twitch part where you get to keep all the videos yet, but we'll get there at some point. So if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, not only do you get what we do here at Video Games to the Max, if you hit the bell, follow all that stuff, you get our other shows there, which actually happening right now is the Despicable Me 4 review that the Rallies of Broadcasting folks are doing. So if you like movies and TV shows, we're talking about our most wanted adaptations. Those people talk about not only things that get adapted from comics, books, movies, video games, but just anything that's a film or TV. Pretty much they cover it all over there, and in great detail. So make sure you watch their stuff too. And on the anime side, Otaku Cafe does a great job of covering all the new anime that comes out every season, and they're almost wrapping up the summer season here. So make sure you go watch them over there if you're big into the anime. So yeah, and then of course you can always just listen on podcasts as well, wherever you do listen to your podcasts. On just search Video Games to the Max or the other shows, and you'll find us there. So that being said, let's get actually talking about video games here, Mark.
Yep.
How goes the Elden Ring?
Good.
DLC?
Me and Jens have played a few more times for a few hours each. We got to the second area. Now we're kind of, I wouldn't say stuck, but that game, like, it's funny. Games like that, like, people have this weird allegiance to about, like, oh, anything they add to it is sacrilege. It should just be like this archaic as fuck thing that seemingly was programmed in the 1970s. So, like,
Yeah,
we know from one of his friends that, like, if you get past a certain area, all the quests kind of fail out or they get changed. So we're trying not to hit that area. But it's
right.
like that game doesn't have a quest log or even, like, realistically, like, a story. So it's like it's just a lot of nightmarish, like, oh, you got to talk to this guy and hear what he has to say, but you can't tell like where you are in the story at all or where you are in the quest because heaven forbid they have a quest log or even a fucking pause button in that game. So it's a lot of headaches about like, oh, where do we go? Or we can't hit this one village, or we can't do this area because it doesn't have a boss, so we can't do multiplayer. And it's like, this is all dumb as shit. Like, I just want to play the game with my buddy. Like, there shouldn't be all this like weird archaic nonsense that prevents that from happening.
Yeah.
But
I mean, so how's the so have y'all beaten the whatever
oh
the
god,
next
no.
boss is, or no?
We couldn't do it together. We had to do it separately. We had to just summon random people. We beat like this chick with like a flame and fire sword, or flame and ice sword, I should say. She was kind of tough, even with like powered up people. And we're slowly making our way through like some of the bosses and stuff. But yeah, still just exploring and going that way, or just seeing what's around the next corner, or if we can even get to it or not.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, so y'all have at least y'all been having fun together with that. So that's good.
We played for about like 6 hours, 6 or 7 hours. So that's been good.
That shows a lot how that DLC is a lot bigger than a lot of people think. Y'all playing 6-7 hours, and it feels like you probably didn't get that far, really.
Yeah, we're nowhere close to being done with it or anything. So yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yep. How's the Shin Megami Tensei Vengeance?
Good. In the second main area, I guess. I'm like level 35, 36, something around there. Yep. Still going strong. It does some fun stuff where like you get quests that you have no chance of beating. It's like, oh, you need to be level 71 to beat this quest. And it's like, yo, I'm 33. Like,
yeah, you're never.
I appreciate that, but you could have given me this quest 40 hours later when I'm near that level, and that would have been fine too.
Right.
But it's still good. I mean, still really good on the PlayStation 5. They introduced, I think they added there are like these little guys you can collect in the game world that like unlock like bonuses for you. And I think they unlocked some map system for that, which has been helpful. So if you just like pay a guy, he'll just like pinpoint them all on the mini map or the map for you. So you just go hunting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still really like that game. I mean, just exploring the world is a lot of fun. The battle system, it is what it is. It can be aggravating at times, but still enjoyable. I'll keep plugging away at it because I got to at least finish that game once to review it.
I mean, you're not even gonna try to do that new section or whatever.
I'll dip into it a little, but the problem with that game, I looked at a trophy guide for it. To get the platinum trophy, you need to beat that game 6 times.
Wow.
And fuck that.
Yeah.
Even like if you're doing like, you can do like New Game Plus, which obviously makes like the second and third runs and stuff easier.
Right, easier. Yeah.
Go a long time because it's like there are 3 endings for the basic quest, like basically good, evil, and neutral, I guess. And then there are 3 endings for the other quest, so that's 6 endings that you can't like scum your way through.
Yeesh.
Yeah,
like you said, that is a lot of time.
Yeah, and I think one of them, there's like one other trophy that you have to beat the game on like hard mode, and it's like, oh, that's a New Game Plus mode, or if I ever saw one.
Yeah, for real. That's
yeah. Imagine having to beat Final Fantasy VII Rebirth 6 times in a row, or 6 times. You're like, nope, I'm cool. I didn't want to beat it on the hard mode, so.
Yeah, I thought about it with hard mode, and it's just like, oh, you know what? It's gonna take so long just to.
Yeah.
Do all that. So, but no, yeah, I would not want to play that game 6 times.
Right.
I honestly, I don't know that. I mean, as much as especially doing it like straight through like that. Now, if you're talking about like, okay, over time, beat the thing 6 times, okay, cool, but not like, I need to beat this 6 times straight to get the platinum.
Right.
That's nuts.
Yep.
I guess they purposely think that like no one's gonna get that, or
No, people have done it, or I mean,
Wow.
there are people on the trophy list that have it. They're just obsessive. Or like I said, like after the first time, it gets a lot easier
Right.
because you're level 80 or whatever, and you're facing level 10
Oh
demons.
yeah, so you can just destroy everything and then skip
Right.
all the cutscenes, and so
Yeah.
it wouldn't take that long, I guess.
Yeah, but you have to like do it in like specific ways. Like you have to like pick option 1 for every encounter or for every like dialogue choice or whatever to get like the lawful ending.
Right.
Like, oh my god, please kill me.
Yeah, there's no way to like really speed through that. You have to make sure you're pressing the right ones and all that.
But yep, I still like it. That's my kind of go-to game for when I have free time, because I can just bust it out, and just explore the world a little more or get to the next objective.
That helps.
Yep.
But yeah, I continue to have to just deal with real life things. Adulting sucks, so have not been able to play anything. But I'm hoping that that EA College Football will show up early. I don't have to wait for EA to do that thing that they do sometimes. Well, a lot of times they'll give it to you like a few. My issue with EA has been like lately, ever since they did that where they give you the trial thing if you have EA Play. That for us folks, like us, that we get to get reviews, but the site's not big enough to where they'll give it to you really early. You basically the same day that I could just do the 10-hour trial by myself as when the game shows up. So I'm just like, well, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna like kill myself to try to review this in 2 days, but yeah, we'll see. Especially with a sports game that we haven't seen in 10 years, and there's gonna be all this stuff you're gonna want to dive into. So,
yep.
But I've seen the gameplay stuff for it. It looks fun. The Dynasty mode looks like it's gonna be even more ramped up than what it used to be in the 14 or whatever. So it's crazy to think we're talking about 24 to 14. Absolutely nuts. But
they should involve or include like a bully style classroom system where you have to like go to class to increase your stats for like the create your own player mode.
Yeah, or just do the persona thing. You go through and you talk to different classmates. That too. That being said, let's I guess get into the news here, which, like I mentioned earlier, does have some adaptation stuff in it. Because the Horizon Netflix show is not going to move forward because apparently the showrunner Steve Blackman is involved in some really shitty stuff. So
after his tag team with Al Snow, his life took a dark turn.
I was gonna make the joke, and I thought, okay, Mark's just gonna rail on me for making a way too out of context joke, but there you go. You made it for me.
That's the last time wrestling was good, goddammit.
Yeah. No, the wrestling is good now. It's just a different form of Lethal Weapon is being done in a terrible way here by this Steve Blackman. Apparently he's being accused of being
not like
toxic bullying, manipulative, and retaliatory behavior.
Not outright heinous behavior, just like a step below, but
I mean, it's still pretty crappy. Like,
stuff still doesn't play nowadays.
Stuff that shouldn't be happening in an adult workplace at all.
Right.
Or any workplace for that matter. Just saying. But still, the whole point is they're not doing this because of that.
I have to imagine that's probably a part of it, like a big part probably, or he may just be a scapegoat. I have to imagine a show like that though would have cost a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
And Netflix isn't in the nowadays, like a lot of their bets don't pay off.
Right.
For as far as like big budget spectacle shows, or I mean, I don't even know what they have going on anymore. So, who know? I have to imagine a show.
Well, they thankfully killed the "let's do a movie every month" thing.
Yeah.
Now they just released the Axel F. That was actually pretty good. I watched that a couple of days ago.
Right, but I mean, as far as like original shows that they're doing,
Yeah, the thing is that they tend to like cancel stuff more often
Right.
than not. So that kind of shows you where they're.
Yeah,
I feel like what Ozark was probably one of the big ones. The last one I remember like really going crazy for was Queen's Gambit when it first came out. And then after that, there's probably been some other things, but
I actually have a DVD of the Queen's Gambit.
Oh, you do?
Which was not hard or not easy to come by, I should say, because they didn't put it out on DVD.
I'm assuming that's from like an import from another country, or what is it?
No, it's a Emmy for your consideration DVD.
Oh,
like what they send out to like Emmy voters. Yeah, so that's cool. Like, but I mean, they have popular shows, but I'm talking like the big budget, like The Witcher, for example, like something that actually costs like a lot of money to make. Like, The Witcher kind of flamed out for a lot of reasons. You know, Stranger Things is ending next year. The Umbrella Academy is ending this year.
Also, Steve Blackman, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, I love The Sandman, but I know like that's coming out next year. And hopefully it's popular, but we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like Netflix's stuff is more of like not necessarily their original shows, but it's just like things that kind of show up on there that all right, you know, now they have go ahead.
No, I guess like the one big show they're doing right now is One Piece.
Well, yeah. One Piece.
Yeah.
Of their live action stuff, because they did that Yu Yu Hakusho one, and that was okay. It wasn't as bad as Cowboy Bebop, but it wasn't.
I think that was like a cross. That wasn't them originally. That was just a cross.
Yeah.
I think they just like imported it, which is fine because it's better than Avatar.
There's people that will fight you on that. They actually like the Avatar, so
they're wrong, but that's fine.
But I mean, talking about this Horizon show, I actually was kind of interested in watching it.
I would have watched it because I like the idea of Horizon. I like the world they kind of like portray.
And it would have been cool to see the big robot. You know what they would have done with the big robot dinosaurs.
They would have had a big robot for like 30 seconds, and then it's a whole bunch. The other 45 minutes is
I doubt they would have had a big boss battle that took 5 minutes with the big elephant or something like that. Like, you know, it would have been her killing it or the like finishing maneuver, and then that's it. You know?
Yeah, just like kind of like that Fallout show. It's not done cheaply by any means, but they don't. You know, every episode doesn't have like the power armor or a bunch of like death claws or super mutants running around. You know.
Yeah. I mean, and if they do have the armor, he's really not doing anything.
Right. He did it. He was in it for like 2 episodes, and that was about it.
Yeah. So, you know, it sucks that this is not going forward. I mean, they do still have, a show that I'll talk about later, on the books, but it's not Netflix. So who knows? That one might actually go forward.
Don't worry, Netflix still has Metroid and Zelda to fall back on.
Yeah, right. They still have they're the ones doing the BioShock show, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
They still have that if that comes out. The Castlevania show is probably, or not Castlevania, Devil May Cry is probably the most anticipated one that they have. As far as like has reputation and people might be excited about it. Is the Far Cry Blood Dragon one with Netflix too? Or is that with somebody else?
I think that was someone else.
But yeah, like this was probably the one like big video game adaptation that they had of a known like of the big ones properties that now kind of sucks that it's not happening. But if this is whether it's a scapegoat reason or the reason or whatever, I mean, at least we're outing this happening. And
I think it's a bit of a scapegoat because also like I think they announced this deal like 2 years ago and nothing came from it.
Yeah, they didn't even show like a trailer or anything.
Yeah, I mean, there's no work been done on it. It's not like we cast this actress as Aloy, or all these scripts are being written. Like nothing happened. So
yeah,
I think it was like in pre-production or whatever. But it's like, okay, even if that's the case, you can fire this guy and get a new guy in there, or new, showrunner in there. Like, that's not the hardest job.
Right.
But the fact that you're just saying, "Oh, now it's canceled," it's like, I don't quite buy that, because it's just this guy's behavior. Like, okay,
Yeah, I wonder with all the Horizon stuff that's down the line, and they have the Lego Horizon thing that we've talked about a few times. That's coming out this year.
yeah,
And then the other games that are down the pipeline, right? Like maybe they think that we don't really need this. It's not for all the budget that we're going to spend, and now we got to go hire somebody else to kind of like restart everything. Do we really want to go through all that?
right.
And like you said, Netflix was ponying up some of the money. They were doing some of the legwork on that, and they probably kind of thought, okay, well, this isn't really going anywhere, so why not just end it there? We go from Netflix to we've talked about them, canceling shows, to a company that has no problem canceling things. Of course, you could pretty much say that the head of Max is pretty. That's what he's known for at this point, canceling things. The Batman Arkham Asylum show has been canceled, or not moving forward, or no longer happening. Whatever verbiage you want to use, is not happening at Max. Of course, they are DC is pretty much that's Warner Brothers. That's all them. So if they say it's not happening, it's not like it's going somewhere else. It's just not happening. And this is according to Variety. They actually already had a showrunner signed back on in October 2022. And then,
well, hey, he's not looking for work.
Yeah. This would have been cool. So
I don't think so.
You don't?
Honestly, I'm kind of glad it got canceled.
Why?
Just because I'm entirely sick of Batman. And I mean, we have at the moment, we have 2 Batman shows premiering this year as it is.
Yeah, the Penguin show.
And the new Batman animated show.
Right.
And we have, Joker 2, I think that's this year.
And Batman Part 2 down the line.
Yeah. And it's like, it's enough.
I'm of the mind that I can never get enough Batman, so I'm good with, as long as it's not the same people working on the same.
So did you watch all of Gotham?
Actually, I did. I did watch all of Gotham.
I haven't. I've seen parts of it at least.
So I liked that show a lot. I was sad when they ended it, but
I don't know.
It lasted a lot longer than I thought it was going to, though.
I just think like they rely on like the one character too much, and also like I don't care about the inner workings or like the day-to-day life of Arkham Asylum. Unless it's gonna be like Oz, which would actually be hysterical. But,
I highly doubt it's gonna be like that. You might get some people dying and all that kind of stuff, but I don't think they're gonna be that graphic. But
yeah, I mean, I may if that Penguin show gets good reviews, I may watch it, because at least it has a few actors I like in it. But
right,
yeah,
I'll watch it and see how it goes.
Yeah,
it might become like Acolyte, where I'm like hate watching it. So
yeah, Jens continues to watch that show, and he's like, I can't render.
I gotta finish it.
Well, yeah, basically, I can't review it, or I can't render an opinion until it finishes. And I'm like, no, you can. Like, it doesn't matter. I mean, to me, it doesn't matter if it's the greatest mystery ever told. Like, you can review a show episode by episode, or what it's at right now. Like,
Acolyte's the thing I watch when I'm at the gym doing like cardio or whatever. I just have it on to just kind of like not have to think about how long I've been on the machine. The only show I watch, like I gotta watch it, is not at 9, but whenever the new show is on, is the House of Dragon right now.
Right.
So, which the episode from yesterday was amazing. So people should go watch it if you haven't already. But we're gonna put a pin in the adaptation stuff for a little bit here.
No, I got one more. they're finally getting to work on that Watchdog adaptation. Like they're
What?
actually filming something right now for it.
No, I would have thought that they would have killed that when the game just did nothing.
You'd think, but you're wrong.
I
Like,
mean
it
that
was like-
that
it was like,
Assassin's Creed show is still happening. So
well, this is an actual movie featuring two actors you don't know, that are supposedly big, but it's Tom Blythe is the main actor. I assume he's going to be Aiden, and an actress named Sophie Wilde is. I'm betting his girlfriend. Damn sure it ain't probably his sister because they're not the same
unless they're gonna have
ethnicity.
two agents, unless they're gonna have
Maybe.
two, yeah.
But yeah, the Tom Blythe guy, like he hasn't been in anything that you'd know. I mean,
Right.
but yeah, they're finally getting the same, like starting work on this thing, and it's like, wow, talk about a decade too late, like
Yeah. I don't know. Ubisoft again. It's Ubisoft. Like they're so weird. They don't cancel things you think they should, and then they keep going with things that you go, "This is still happening." Okay,
yeah,
whatever works with you, Ubisoft. So-
yep.
But speaking of something else that's also getting adaptation, there's supposedly a Ghost of Tsushima. Is it a film or series? Can't remember right now.
Sure.
That's that on PC won the month of May in the United States. It beat out Paper Mario, The 1,000-Year Door, for highest sales. And in fact, well, we don't really know because Nintendo doesn't report digital sales, so maybe it didn't actually win. Who knows? But apparently, between physical and digital, Ghost of Tsushima on PC, which was the fourth biggest launch on PC for Sony in total, did well. So again, keeps proving Sony's point about wait forever to release the PC version. People will wait and they will buy it and it will do well. As I'm sure God of War Ragnarok will do well when that thing hits on PC later this year. So that one, number one. You also had some other stuff in there as well. Cool that Paper Mario 1,000-Year Door did well because I was worried about that not doing so hot. Considering
I wasn't. I mean, it's Mario. Like,
yeah, but like it took a while for Mario RPG to. I think Mario RPG is like barely at 3.4 or something, which is still a lot. I'm saying, but
yeah,
it looked like it was going to be a bigger hit than it actually was, and we'll see what it does throughout the time. The rest of it is kind of the things you would think. Call of Duty's there. Helldivers 2 is still there at number 4, which is still pretty incredible. Elden Ring jumped from 19 to 8 in anticipation of the DLC. This is not including the DLC because that didn't go on sale until the 21st of June. So we'll probably know June at some point later on this month. They usually do it in like the middle of the month. Stellar Blade is there at number 10. That's pretty good for Stellar Blade to still kind of be in the top 10 then that month after. So, and Homeworld 3 is up there at 14. Everybody that was excited for that.
right.
And F124 doing well too. So some of that investment on in all the racing games is paying off there a little bit for EA.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good. And of course, PS5, the highest selling for hardware. No surprise on that. It's really not going to be a thing until Switch 2 comes out. That's finally when we might see the PS5 on the CD because it doesn't matter really if Xbox has Game Pass. They're not going to all of a sudden sell consoles because of that.
Right.
But hey, at least another good thing about PlayStation before we get off this note, they're going to return to Tokyo Game Show. So that's pretty cool because they were there last year, but they only had indie games to show that they were kind of just, presenting and stuff, but they weren't there as PlayStation, Sony, they haven't really been there for several years. So this is kind of like cool that they're back.
Yeah.
And all their big games will have released by then, both God of War Ragnarok on PC and Astrobot, so I wonder if them being there is going to mean something, or they're just going there just to talk to people, and make deals.
I imagine they might have like one thing, kind of unannounced thing, or kind of one far off thing, maybe. But I imagine it's kind of just to fly the flag, or just to keep it
Yeah.
support the place at PS5.
I wonder if by then maybe they use TGS to announce the PS5 Pro. Maybe that's what we're gonna show off here, because I've been seeing a lot of talk about, like, man, you would think they would have shown the PS5 Pro by now, but if you go back and look at when they announced the PS4 Pro, that was announced in September, and then they released it like a few months later. So I guess it wouldn't be that crazy if they did announce it there. That would be a pretty big thing for Sony to show off on that, especially considering Microsoft is not going, or not having any kind of presence where they've kind of had like a digital thing the last couple of years, because they wanted to, prove that they were making strides with the Japanese market. But this year, I guess not.
Yeah.
Especially since Metaphor will be coming out, like, I think 2 weeks after that game comes out, or the whole Tokyo Game Show. So I imagine Atlas will be like wrapping up everything with that. So there won't be much for Xbox.
Yeah.
There. But speaking of Xbox, they did release Diablo 4 on Game Pass. So that technically was the first Activision Blizzard title. But the Activision Blizzard, or at least mostly Activision, games will start coming with more regularity, according to one of these leakers, Ecstasis. And then, of course, Jez over at Windows Central was confirming that probably the first couple of games are going to be Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, Spyro, and then also Crash, Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. Not that all of them are going to come August 1st, but within that time frame is when we'll see them. So cool, I guess.
Sure.
Gives me an excuse to play both of those. I haven't played the Crash remakes or Spyro ones, so. And I know you love the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remakes, so, or remasters, whatever those are considered.
I mean, they were remakes because new game engine and whatever. I mean, what they should do is say, "Hey, 20 Hawk 3 and 4 are coming," but
that would you would think that they would at some point, but we'll see. I guess I guess if they get a lot of play on Game Pass, maybe that'll be the trigger for them to be like, we'll do what Activision didn't do. We'll pull the trigger on that. And for games that probably nobody asked for, here comes Nintendo with their their newest releases on the NES Online. Mark,
yeah,
are you
all the
ready
big hits
for golf? The NES golf. I mean, that's the one everybody wanted to play,
right?
And then Urban Champion.
Great.
Donkey Kong Jr., which that one actually was kind of decent back in the day.
Yeah.
Especially because they would like taught your kids math.
Right.
And whatnot. Solar Jetman, also coming, Mock Rider, Cobra Triangle. I've never heard of any of these games until they just get released on the NES Online, and you're like, okay, Nintendo, thank you for announcing this.
Yep.
Like, do they really like? It's so funny because you don't really ever hear about, okay, this thing came off of Switch Online, right? Like, do they just literally go and try to find the most weirdest freaking games and go, nobody will ever care to remove the license for this, so let's put this on Switch Online. I don't know.
Well, I also imagine it's stuff. It might be stuff that like, oh, we can get the license to this easily. It's not
yeah, nobody's gonna want to make a collection of it or something like that. Also,
yeah,
right? Because what's the point of putting, like, let's say the Castlevania games on there when you can just go buy them off the Switch itself? So there's probably that too. That probably runs into it. But hey, if you want to go play those, you can do that.
I mean, at least Solar Jetman is decent enough.
Yeah.
But the rest of this thing, I don't know. And it ain't. Yeah, it's not Donkey Kong Jr. It's Donkey Kong Jr. Math.
Oh, Donkey Jr. Okay. Well, there you go.
So,
That's why I mentioned the math thing.
yeah.
But Nintendo is once again in the news for something that they're in the news for a lot, really. Them suing people.
Cracking skulls.
Yeah, like they have done it again. This time they're going after. Apparently, they had made complaints against Ryan Daly for a while about him having a store called Modded Hardware, and they told him, "Hey, man, cease and desist, or we're gonna go after you because you're selling modded Switch consoles and MIG switches." Which
I got
technically,
one.
yeah, you have one. I think no, but it's not. This isn't the Switch cart. This is the Switch, like him selling consoles that are him selling modded consoles, or then like letting you pay for you to send it in, and then he will mod them and install games on it. And that's where you ran into trouble. Because once you start pre-installing games that the owner may or may not have had previously, that's where I think you ran into trouble there.
Yeah, because they always get busted for stuff like that.
I don't know why you didn't just do okay, here's how you can mod your Switch. If you want to pay me to mod it for you, cool. You know where to find the games. That's up to you. But I'm not going to, put them on there for you. And unfortunately, he did not stop. So he has now been, they filed a complaint in Seattle federal court, charging him with trafficking and circumvention devices and copyright infringement. Or at least this is what Nintendo is alleging. There's nothing happening because he told the courts that he's going to go find a lawyer. So instead of just stopping right then, he just kept selling the Switches.
That's cool.
and so Nintendo's like, oh, okay, apparently you were not stopping. So we're just going to go through with this. And I mean, Nintendo technically has a point. You're selling, not only are you offering hardware and firmware to create and play pirated games, but you're also providing customers with copies of pirated Nintendo games.
Yeah, they tend to frown on that.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they already have a problem with you downloading your emulated games, some of which you may already own. Most of them, let's be honest, most of them they don't. People. I just love the fact that again, every time you go online, everybody's having this discourse about how I should be able to download my games. Yeah, dude, you're not downloading your games. You're downloading other games you don't have, so you don't have to buy them.
Yeah.
And you're just using the veil of, I want to download my games, man. It's like, no, you're not. I'm not saying that nobody is. I'm saying that most of the people that are online talking about this stuff, they are not just downloading their games. They're downloading games that they don't own, they don't plan to buy, just so they can have the whole collection digitally or whatever. Yeah. I lost all of mine. I had them in a drive at one point. So I'm not going to say that I've never done that or whatever, but still, I mean, I'm sure anybody that's knows anything about emulation, somebody has downloaded some game at some point, especially right now. The ones that look, the retro ones, I don't care what you do. If Nintendo's no longer selling the games on the digital store, I think at that point, even though Nintendo will go after you because they can, whatever. Do what you do, because the prices for so many of these amazing games are through the roof. So I don't blame you on that front, but still. They also fired a lawsuit against Archbox, who is a Redditor that was basically, showing people how to mod Switches. And they also told him to stop doing that. And he had shops as well where he was kind of offering advice and telling you how to do this and how to download and install the software that makes it to where you can play the downloaded Switch games on your Switch. And yeah, again, Nintendo told him to stop. He didn't stop. He apparently closed 3 of the shops, but then they're alleging that he had one still open. And he also is apparently on record saying that he will never give Nintendo money for a game also, which doesn't help you in your case when you're caught doing stuff like this. I'm sure that it will wind up in another victory for Nintendo.
Yeah, because it always happens.
Look how quickly they got Yuzu to just, yep, we're just closing up shop right now. Like,
right.
But still, like, we'll see how this goes. I'm pretty sure we know what's going to happen. But again, I guess lesson for others: don't mess with Nintendo when it comes to a lot of things.
If you're gonna do this stuff, do it in the down low. Like, don't have a fucking store.
Don't have a store. Don't have a Discord. You know, what happened to like the old days where you just had a chat with your buddies?
Yeah.
And that's it. You don't have to broadcast it to everyone. Because that might be the only way you circumvent this stuff at this point.
Right.
Even that, just if you have a site or whatever, just, I don't know, maybe knock it off. But even then, that's up to you. But something that we know is probably not happening. Mr. Hunobu Sakaguchi, after he made so much great news, he made me so excited about Fantasian coming to Switch. That's apparently where the excitement ends, because he is not interested in either returning to Final Fantasy, which, okay, I kind of get his point, right? He says, if I return to Final Fantasy, I don't know that I'll be able to enjoy Final Fantasy 14 as much. He's a huge Final Fantasy 14 player. He says he lives in Final Fantasy 14, basically. Of course, the new Dawn Trail expansion is out there, so I'm sure he is playing it, as so many other people are. Even with the problems, it's apparently brought back so many old.
As every expansion does with every MMO.
Yeah, but I think this is like the most ever or something for them. Which is still incredible. But he also has no interest in remastering Lost Odyssey or Blue Dragon, which is really sad.
My response to that would be, okay, you don't have any interest, but how about if you have someone else do it instead?
Yeah, like, I mean, you think that Microsoft would maybe bang on that door to at least get Lost Odyssey, if anything. Man, like, seriously, if Lost Odyssey got to be remastered, I think that game would sell so well, because there's so many people that, yeah, you can buy it. It's on sale regularly for like $6 or whatever. And so is Blue Dragon, by the way. But like, Lost Odyssey is a freaking diamond. It is a gem. Like, yes, you can go play it. It'll look good on your Xbox or whatever, but man,
it still has some kind of fundamental tech problems, though, just because of the age of the engine and age of the hardware. That it's that it was based on. That's why so many like 360 and PS3 games get remastered nowadays. It's like, that stuff was rough back then, so now you can do it better, like Mass Effect, for example, and it plays a whole lot better.
Yeah. It sucks that he doesn't want to. I mean, he is working on supposedly perhaps another Fantasian or something else with Miss Walker right now. So it's not like he's not busy, but still kind of,
have him sign off on it at least. Like, here you go.
Yeah, I just wonder if Microsoft actually cared enough. If they thought it would make them money, if they would do it. Yeah.
I mean, I can give you the answer no, because they don't care about that thing at all.
I don't know. Why wouldn't you, like, okay, if you're Square Enix, right? Also, like, you love doing remasters and remakes and stuff right now. Why don't you sign some deal like you did with Fantasia and do remasters of those.
Because they Microsoft published Lost Odyssey at least. I don't know about, and I think Blue Dragon also. So
okay.
Square Enix doesn't have anything to do with those. So
Right, but I mean, like, sign the deal with Mr. Walker. But yeah, they would have to get permission from Microsoft. They're probably
and
not
I
going to do it,
assume
even if they.
even if like Square somehow got that deal, Square would want to put it out on PS5 and Steam or PC, and they could do one of
And
those.
as long as Microsoft still got their cut, I don't think they would care. Right? They don't have a problem putting stuff on PS5.
Right.
You know, they put stuff on Switch all the time. So
I do kind of question. I mean, I know you and I both like love Lost Odyssey, but I don't think like if they just like release it tomorrow, I don't think it'd be like that big of a game or that big of a. It might be big in like certain circles, but
yeah.
like it wouldn't even crack like a top 10 or top 20 probably.
Oh, it'd be big in the RPG circles, right? And that's
Right.
probably where that's it.
But the sad thing is those circles are dwindling.
Yeah, already small as it is.
Yeah.
I mean, not everything can be Elden Ring.
They need to do some like Lost Odyssey Fortnite collaboration.
Oh God, let's not. That's one thing we could just keep off of that.
Yeah.
But that was sucky news, but it's stuff we can kind of deal with. This stuff is the usual crappy news that we have to deal with on a weekly basis in video games. One of them is showing the continuing bad state that Paradox Interactive is in, with City Skylines 2 getting delayed again. Did you guys remember that it's supposed to be on consoles by now? Well, apparently it's not even going to come out in October 2024. So I guess 2025 it is. Would people still care?
I mean,
if it came out on consoles?
I think the first City Skylines did okay on consoles, and
Yeah.
City Builders somehow do okay on consoles. Like those Jurassic Park, City Builders did okay. Did fine. So I think there is demand for it, but I think City Skylines 2 is kind of a huge mess, and it got released too early, and then their insistence on like not using Steam Workshop and not having like using that Paradox system and a whole bunch of other nonsense have left like a really bad taste in people's mouth.
Yep, exactly. I mean, and it was actually a well-received game on PC. People liked it.
Skylines 1 or 2?
No, there was people putting 2 on lists for like their top 20 games of the year and stuff.
Those people are wrong.
Yeah, but yeah,
the reviews the reviews now are mixed on Steam, but they've always been mixed. Like it's never been like positive.
Right. To be fair, we've had some big games that also had mixed PC reviews for various reasons, and then people still liked it. Or
also, PC wasn't the only platform.
Right? Yeah. Unfortunately, for this one, it is. So it's like indefinite the delay. They don't know. Right now, they still can't hit the stability performance targets that they're trying for the console release. I feel like they've said this every single time they've delayed this game about the stability performance targets. And unfortunately, they're going to go through another thorough review in August and I guess figure out if they can possibly release it this year. I don't know. But
before they shit can, like they just did that Sims the Sims clone they were making.
Yeah, the Life by You thing, and then they closed the Tectonic Studio. They've had other just misses as well. Like they keep every time they do an earnings report, it's just negative. Like Paradox really is not doing well as far as like getting the hits out there for that.
Yeah.
Another company doing terribly, or just always has a reputation of doing terribly, regardless of how many companies they split themselves into. Embracer Group is yet again closing another studio. We did talk about this before that they were possibly closing Piranha Bytes. Now they've reportedly, according to a former employee, they ceased operation at the end of June.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much closing shop at this point. They were, going to work on a new Dark Fantasy title with the Unreal 5 engine, but didn't happen.
It's kind of a shame.
Yeah.
It's a shame because Gothic is an old series, but it's kind of more well respected.
Yeah.
I liked Risen 2 quite a bit, actually. Risen 3 is kind of a mess, or it's kind of just a recycled, mess. But I think there'd be a good interest for pirate themed RPG. And their other game, Elex, sucked ass.
Yeah, they did. And then also it doesn't help that, I guess, some of their veterans, a married couple, Bjorn and Jennifer Pankratz, also left to make a new studio, Pithead Studio, basically almost at the same time. So it's like you kind of know, all right, people are leaving to make their own studio. This thing is kind of gone. Unfortunately for the people working there, it sucks.
Yeah.
Another casualty of Embracer.
Maybe they can find work at a new studio, or put out something that people want.
Well, something I think there were quite a few that really liked this game. This game also became the subject of unnecessary hatred from people just being racist, for the lack of a better term. Especially once they got revealed that Tales of Concerns was going to be on PS Plus, which gave it more of a heightened perception. So people were kind of just waiting to be crappy about it. But it was overall, critically, I think, even though it got a 76, there was a lot of people that liked that game. The message it was trying to tell, I liked it for the bit that I've played. It's one of those EA original games, so those have mostly been good for the most part. And it sucks that the studio is having to lay off people. At least I think 12 people are getting laid off at this point, which they hadn't officially announced it. It was certain developers were kind of saying that they've been let go, and then all of a sudden that certain studios just announced it themselves. Again, it sucks. They just made this game not too long ago, and already.
I mean, I think it's a problem that it kind of came and went. The name was extremely uninspired. Uninspired. And might have been too big initially. If you, I just think about Super Giant Games, when they put out Bastion, it was 12 people or 13 people or something. I don't know how big the studio was, but if you're going to go really independent, you may need to have a very small team and hope it catches. But the problem is, most times it doesn't.
So, well, I mean, they got money put in from EA as well, so they could expand because of that. So
right,
it just sucks. It's this has been happening, even though it feels like it's not the big shockwave ones that have been happening weekly now.
The studio is not closed completely.
Yeah, at least that's a win.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that means what they're going to do on their next project, but still it sucks. And something we've been waiting on for a while, because Paramount has been trying to find literally anybody, and I mean anyone, to please buy us. Somebody merge with Paramount Plus. They had a deal with Apple, a deal with Peacock, a deal with Max. All of them just went through the floor. Nothing happened. And then Skydance apparently has gained control of Paramount in a deal worth $8 billion. Of course, Paramount not only owns the film studio and TV studio Paramount Plus and CBS, but also Nickelodeon, MTV, Comedy Central, Star Trek, Mission Impossible, Top Gun, SpongeBob.
I just finished that Star Trek Prodigy show. Like the season 2 dropped, and that was quite good.
Yeah, see, Mark is sitting there watching that Paramount Plus.
I hope that. No, that was Netflix actually, but
Oh, Netflix. Okay.
yeah, Paramount Plus canceled the show in their infinite wisdom.
Yeah. And I mean, I watch it mostly for soccer, but still, they have stuff on there. I think I canceled it like a few months ago because I was like, I'm not really watching this when soccer's not on, and I can just watch the soccer in Spanish. So I'm just gonna save me the $10.
And it's original, and in its original language.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they apparently have to pay 2.4 billion for National Music, which is the group that owns Paramount, and then they're going to make a new Paramount that's valued at 28 billion, whatever that means. And they're going to apparently inject some, reinvigorate these Paramount and CBS brands and all the stuff that you normally hear when somebody does something new. Whatever.
Great.
I mean, good that it's still existing, I guess. Do you think they really are gonna start, doing well with this?
What they'll probably do is what every vulture capitalist firm does, and just start piecing it out or selling, selling what they can and burning what they can't.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably gonna look at that portfolio and just be like, okay, we can work with Star Trek and
take a nice hatchet to it.
Mission Impossible and CSI and whatever other thing that has cachet, and then so
they are making a Tomorrow War sequel. What the fuck? Yeah, that Chris Pratt movie.
What?
Like, why? You idiots! Like, that movie wasn't good to begin with, and you make a sequel out of it. And it didn't make money either. Like, that's the funny thing. So
Really?
can't wait for that.
It didn't make money at all?
Well, I'm going by Wikipedia. It cost $200 million to make, and it made about 19. And I guess that was during the pandemic. And I think it was pretty popular on Amazon, but I can't imagine it makes up $180 million difference.
Really? That's crazy. Wow.
Right.
I've never seen that movie. I thought it was fine. Like, I liked it, but I didn't think it was like a set the world on fire.
And also, like that I Am Legend movie. It's like, this doesn't leave a lot of room for a sequel. Like,
yeah,
it kind of just ends, which is valid. Like, every damn movie doesn't need some sequel hook that it's like, oh, it's popular, let's make another one. Like,
I mean, when you got Chris Pratt, I guess they feel like you have to.
Yeah.
Right. So, but hey, maybe these video game movies and TV shows, some of which, at least for me, they're known. We'll see if they actually come with the light of day. I think only one of them for sure is probably coming, because Amazon kind of technically has a good streak of things, decent anyway. We'll see. I don't have Marc's in front of me, so we'll see. Marc is just going to surprise me with his 5 here. But for me, number 5 is the BioShock series. I'm a huge fan of BioShock. I think it definitely has the story and the intrigue and the atmosphere and everything to be a cool series. It's like one of those games that when you play it, you feel like you could be watching a show or a movie or whatever.
I think the problem with BioShock is it has a very cool world.
Yeah.
But I don't know where you would set a show, like what time period, and what the story would be. Like,
I mean, I could totally see, just like if they could do like a Westworld kind of thing with this.
Do you mean like Westworld, like going back and forth between time periods, or
that, or just have like, weird like intrigue happening. Yeah, that too. you could do a perspective of various people there. I don't know if you're going to set it in. Are they going to start with just Rapture, or eventually are they going to try to lead up to Bioshock Infinite, or are they just going to leave it in Rapture the whole time? But
right.
Either way, it's like that's the thing. You have a cool world to set it in. You can kind of just make that kind of like whatever you want, as long as it has the big daddies and all the other things that are you're used to seeing in Bioshock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what's your number 5?
Splinter Cell.
Oh yeah,
They're gonna make a fucking a game out of it to make a TV show. And as it's been evidenced or shown, like that Jack Ryan show did well, and so did Reacher. So have a spy espionage action show.
And they definitely have material to go off of. So,
I mean, you don't need to base it on any game. You just need,
right.
just have, Sam Fisher. I mean, I couldn't tell you the story of any of those fucking Splinter Cell games except for terrorists.
Right.
So, yeah, have some terrorist plot that Sam Fisher and I think it's third echelon.
It's Tom Clancy. It's easily adaptable into whatever the hell you want to insert thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would be down with that.
Yeah,
just to watch it. What's your number 4?
Let's see. I'll say it again. I think like a Persona show would be cool.
Okay, so non-anime, right? Because Persona already gets the anime.
Like real life, where it's like half Riverdale or half Dawson's Creek, and then half horror show, demon hunting.
That would be awesome. Yeah, you could. Yeah, that would be great. Like, you could have the high school stuff. Make some allusions to the game, right? And then you could show the calendar and have they're going through different days or whatever.
Every season could be like a year in high school, or like assuming the show is like long enough, and that's not some 8-episode thing they keep doing. But
and then definitely you have so many, not just Persona games, but just so many high school things you could do, and then
round up the cast from Riverdale and have them start wearing skin tight latex outfits, and there you go.
Yeah, there you go. And then have the cool demons there,
right?
And the fusions and all that. That's what people want to see. For me, Gears of War is one of my favorite franchises, so I know that they already have the show that, again, just like the Horizon show, this was supposed to get made, a movie was supposed to get made I feel like forever ago, have heard nothing about it. It's supposedly still in the works somewhere. Right. But I would like to see it actually happen, whether it's a TV show or a movie. It could work either way. But I mean, definitely if you're going to start from the beginning which is what they're trying to do with the games now, with Dom and Marcus, I mean, that is a combo, a duo that you can sell the whole thing around. And then, you can work the rest of the cast around it with the originals, and you make a TV show with that. I'm totally down. Please just don't make it like the Halo show and ruin the games. Please just learn from that. Learn what happened with Fallout, and actually make a good show about one of your old franchises, and not kill it like Halo. I mean, Halo would have been one of my ones on here, but they totally made it to where, like, I'm sorry.
Well, you didn't watch season 2, did you?
No, but
it got better, but the problem with the show is it still has it. I mean, it's like Westworld kind of, but you still don't care about like half the characters or half of what's going on.
I mean, but Westworld had at least 4 or 5 huge characters that I did care about. I don't care about the fact that I didn't care about, like, 10 other ones or whatever, but there was a lot of them I did care about,
I mean, I cared about John, and I cared about Halsey quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's kind of about it.
That's not a good thing there.
Right.
The one show I think will possibly actually really happen out of all of these, just because Amazon tends to make the stuff that they put into production.
Yeah, they
Whether
follow
all of
through.
it turns, and most of it turns out pretty good. Also,
Yeah.
God of War, the Amazon show.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. I think it's going to be, especially based off of, the newer games.
Right. The Ragnarok
It,
and yeah, that
yeah,
type of.
you already have the dynamic there. You just need to put it into a situation where that's going to work. How you tie the mythology into that? Do they make allusions to the older games at all? And I want to see who they're going to have play Kratos and all that. So
There's Idris Elba as Kratos.
I mean, I'm not going to say no to that. That would be awesome. But still,
Under 5 pounds of blue makeup or
right?
gray
Yeah.
makeup.
What's your number 3?
Saints Row.
Saints Row. Okay.
I think like a really over the top like gangster movie would be great. Or even show. I mean, but just have it be like completely over the top and like crazy. Like that would do well.
There's definitely a niche for that, especially with the streamers. Like, hey,
Yeah.
Twisted Metal did it,
Right.
So,
and that had barely had anything to do with the fucking games. So
exactly, it just had crazy shit with zany characters, and we're kind of doing stuff that's in the game, sort of.
Speaking of that, me and Jens were talking about that not Dead Island, sorry, the Dead Rising remake or whatever they're putting out. And I was joking, like there's only one true Frank West, and I linked back to the Rob Riddle when he Frank West when he's in that Dead Rising movie.
Yeah.
And my comment was like, well, it's no second. This is boring enough, but it's no second movie. That was really terrible. And he was like, second movie? I was like, yeah, they made a second of these Dead Rising movies. And he was like, you're shitting me, right? And I was like, no. And I looked into like the page, and he was like, wow, I didn't even know about this one.
He needs to bring back the podcast with Randy just for that.
Right.
My number 2 is, obviously they have already allusions to, but basically they already have a prequel show. I know they do. I know pretty much that they basically make this into a TV show as it is already, but it would be awesome to have an actual Alan Wake series.
Here's my problem with that. I think it would be cool, but what do you do about Alan Wake? Do you cast that guy like the Finnish actor?
No, I think you do.
I don't think he can speak English or like speak English well. Like, do you have Matthew Parada do his voice, or do you just speech train the fuck out of him and hope he can pick up English well? Or like, I think he can speak English. It's just accented English, or you just kind of say fuck it and have him always. Alan Wake is somehow from Finland, and there we go.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, but I mean, aside from that, I mean, it would be cool. Just you could do the whole, even include some of the control stuff in there if you want, and that could be a show.
Or even that other guy, the quantum theory,
quantum leap,
theory.
or not leap, quantum break,
yeah. Include quantum leap guy, Scott Bakula.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. And he travels in time to Alan Wake.
Right. I think it'd be a cool idea. Like it'd be like a good limited run show, or
exactly.
Series. It doesn't need to run for 8 seasons or whatever.
No.
Yeah,
like the prequel series was. You can do this to like maybe 1 or 2 seasons, and that's it. And if they want to tie it into one of the other games, or like it tied into the next game or something like that, or I'd love it. I mean, as somebody that loves Twin Peaks, this is like the closest you get in video game form. So it'd be cool to see his take on that.
Sure.
What's your
my number 2 would be Assassin's Creed. Like,
all right,
an actual good Assassin's Creed, where I would have it be like a limited limited series show, like an 8-episode
Mhm.
show, but only have it be a historical drama until like the very end, where some dude wakes up and he's Desmond, and he's in the Animus, and that's how like they end like the first season, and the second
Yeah.
season it's a new character or a whole new historical time period, but it's still Desmond like replaying the memories and going
Oh,
from there.
I mean, that's what's cool about Assassin's Creed is you have so many games. You literally have things to take off from there, and
And
then
hey,
there's
that's the thing. You don't need to base it on any one game. It's not like the first season would have to be the Altair shit, and the second
yeah.
season is Ezio. Like, do whatever you want.
No, you could
But
but you could do whatever you want. But they already showed you how many historical places you can go to, so it's like it's literally your oyster, whatever you want to do. Obviously, with movies, I think it costs even more to do all that stuff. You have to go to location and shoot and do all that. So I mean, or with TV shows. So I mean, that's gonna be interesting if they actually ever do that Assassin's Creed series that's supposedly still in development somewhere.
right.
But yeah, how much budget are they going to put into it? That's my issue with Assassin's Creed is the budget there is.
You say that, but there's plenty of historical shows.
Yeah,
I mean that do
I mean
okay.
even that old Indiana Jones show was not very high budget. It was decent.
Right.
My number one is Kingdom Hearts. I know there's rumors of that anime live action show that might be in development at Disney Plus. I really hope it is in development at Disney Plus. It'd be awesome.
So
Yeah.
Here's my question for that is what age would you target that franchise or that show?
That it's got to be for like teens. You can't make it for little kids. The Kingdom Hearts doesn't. It works like that, but if you're gonna put the Nomura shit in it, which I imagine that you need to, because then what's the point?
I think that's a problem. I actually don't think.
Okay,
Well,
but what are you doing? What are you doing? Like Mickey Mouse Kingdom Hearts show? I mean, like, what is that if it doesn't have the Nomura shit in it?
Well, what do you define as like the Nomura stuff? Do you mean like Sephiroth and Cloud, or do you mean like
No, I'm
I'm
talking about Sephiroth the shot. Yeah, exactly, Organization 13 and all the weird stuff, and like if it doesn't have that stuff, there's no point. It's not Kingdom Hearts at that point. It's just Disney with Sora in it.
The sad thing is I think like a Disney, a show with Disney and Sora is a lot more manageable. Or I mean, you can have like the
I
Organization
agree
13
with
stuff
you.
be like the bad guys, but having like all that like weird, Yensid, all that other bullshit, like no.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about on that fucking when you're talking on Facebook about like Kingdom Hearts is too much story.
Yeah. No, there's just enough story in Kingdom. No, seriously, there is too much story in Kingdom Hearts, but I wouldn't have it any other way. That's just the craziness of that show. No, honestly, I do not want them to tie it to like try to make it an extension of the games. Like, oh, something else you have to watch. I don't want that. It needs to be its own thing or a reset. If you want to follow, from Kingdom Hearts 1 and go forward or whatever, you want to do that, whatever, but don't make it, like that movie that they made, the Backdoor prequel movie or whatever the hell. Don't do that, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not make it any more convoluted. For one, I don't think Disney would greenlight it because nobody in the hell would understand that except for Kingdom Hearts fans. And then you're lowering the bar as to how many people can watch the thing. Yep. So, yeah, but please be actually making this, Disney. It'd be awesome if we get.
Would you want it to be a show or a movie?
I want it to be a show just because they definitely have enough stuff to keep continuing it.
Every show, every episode, like if it was like a limited show or like a limited series, every episode could then be them visiting like a new Disney world. Like, here's the Lion King world, or here's Tron, or here's
my problem with the movie is that they would just like it'd be like rushing all that stuff, and I'd rather them spend like one episode. Oh, we went here, and then
Here's the good idea about the show, though. If they did that, in every episode, they could find 3 to 901 Dalmatians and then drop them off back at the house.
Yeah, that's the ending part, like where they get to the.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, we found 3 more. We left them here.
Yeah, here's 9 pups. And then you get like elect 2 or something, or
Yeah,
electricity.
exactly.
Your spell got upgraded. Woohoo!
What's your number one?
Parasite Eve.
There's okay. I was like, man, is Mark not going to mention Parasite Eve in this thing?
And they did an adaptation, kind of, but I would say that's very loose, to say the least.
Right.
And it kind of only came out in Japan, and only has barely anything to do with it.
Yeah.
So, yep, I think a good Parasite Eve movie would be cool. Like actually focusing on Aya and what she goes through.
That would be awesome. Definitely. I still don't understand, like, with how awesome the survival horror genre is doing right now, or at least how popular most of them are. Especially Resident Evil, like you wouldn't be bringing that back if you're.
My other alternative, and this would have to be a movie because like a show wouldn't work, would be Space Channel 5.
Isn't that gonna be a movie?
I think they half mentioned it or something, but nothing will ever come out of it.
We'll see. I thought they made allusions to that.
Nothing ever comes back out of this stuff.
Yeah. We'll see if they do. But hey, what are your shows and movies for video games that you'd want to see? Let us know in the comments on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, and hey, we'll talk about it next time. Before we get to next time, though, let's talk about the games that are coming out here for this week. I wish it was coming to something that wasn't PC because I really actually am interested and do like, and I've been interested for a while in Angerfoot. It was supposed to come to Switch, I thought, but I think they couldn't get it to run, or I don't know how that worked, but yeah.
One of those small problems.
Hopefully it gets put on console at some point. Devolver Digital is known for this. They put the thing out on PC. They see if it gets traction, and then they'll put it on console later. I'm surprised you're not interested in this. Alaskan Road Truckers. You like all these trucking?
Sometimes, but I still want to get that Expeditions game.
Neon White is coming to Xbox. It'll be on Game Pass, so you can play it on there if you haven't played it yet. It is an awesome game, actually. Definitely go check it out. Parasol Stars, the story of Bubble Bobble 3. Not kidding. That is a game, and it's coming out this week. And yeah, mostly Doug, I think we'll be doing the show all the time. Yeah, so Darkest Dungeon 2 is also going to be out the day we do the next episode. That'll be coming to consoles. It's already out on PC. And then that next week was when all the stuff that's like kind of big coming, or not big, but like the stuff people have sort of been waiting on is coming.
Right.
In that middle of the week, in middle of the month there, July 16th on, 15th on. So we'll be talking about that for next time. Hopefully, maybe I'll get to talk about EA College Football 25 if a review code comes in. But
I found the old tweet my friend sent me that he's going to get me a copy. So I got to send that to him. Be like, you promised, fucker. Even though you no longer work at EA.
Hopefully it's for a PS5 we can play each other or something.
Yeah, it is. He said Gen 5 consoles, and they have some like weird generational scheme at EA. I was like, what the hell's Gen 5? He's like, oh, this current stuff. All right.
But all right. Thank you everybody for tuning in this week. We'll be back next week around the normal time, Friday, 5:30, 6 o'clock. And until then, everybody, and subscribe, watch, follow, review, wherever it is you watch or listen, and we'll see you later.
Later.